and welcome to Pie Charts with Cupid Education. In this lecture, you will know what to include in a pie chart, you will answer GCSE exam questions based on pie charts, and know how to draw a pie chart. So first of all, let's have a look at things to include. First of all, obviously you need the chart itself. You also need a title, so make sure that you show what your pie chart is representing. For example, pie chart to represent people's favourite colour. You will also need a key of some kind. There are a few other things that you might need, but we'll have a look at this later. So first of all, let's have a look at some pie chart questions. You have two pie charts here which show some favourite drinks. You've got one pie chart for the adults and one pie chart for the children. The first question says, what fraction of adults chose orange? Well, if we look at the adult pie chart, we can see that we only have one segment being orange, and altogether there are 8 sections. So it's 1 out of 8. Now the second question says how many adults chose water. Well, if we look at the blue section on the adult pie chart, okay, we have 2 segments here. So that's 2 out of 8. So you need to find 2/8 of 32 adults because altogether there are 32 adults. Now to find 2/8 of 32, you can do 2 divided by 8, press equals, and then times by 32. A little bit like this. Okay, so you can do, instead of the way I've written it here, 32 times 2 over 8, you can do 2 divided by 8 first, press equals, and then times by 32. That will give you 8. So that tells you exactly how many adults chose water. It now asks how many children chose coffee, which is a really odd question. I'm hoping nobody gives their kids coffee, really. But as you can see, only one segment out of the children chose coffee. Now altogether in here there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's actually 1 out of 10. Now 1 out of 10, but it actually says how many children. So that means I need 1 out of 10 of 100, or 1/10 of 100. So you should know that that's 10. But if not, you can do 1 divided by 10 because that's your 1/10 and times it by 100 to give you 10. Now it also says here how many people chose tea. Well, there are 3/8 of the adults and 2/10 of the children. So we need to do 3/8 of the adults, so times that by 32. Okay, so you could do 3 divided by 8, press equals, and times by 32. And your answer then is 12. And you will then need to do 2 divided by 10, because it was 2 out of 10 that chose tea, times 100 for the children to give you 20. Add those together and it gives you 32. Now it also says which group had the most tea drinkers, and it's the children because they had 20 children drinking tea and only 12 adults drinking tea. And there was also more children. Okay, so finally, what's the greater proportion, adult tea drinkers or child water drinkers? So adult tea drinkers is 3/8, and child water drinkers is 4/10. So 4/10, okay, we can write this down here. So you've got 3/8 or 4/10. Well, 3/8, we could either say is like 30 out of 80, okay? So if it's 30 out of 80, and we could then round up our 4/10 as well to get 80 on the bottom. So as long as we can get the same number on the bottom of our fraction, it will tell us the correct proportion. So to get from 8 to 80, we times by 10, which means we'd have to times this one by 10. And to get from 10 to 80, we times by 8. So we do 4 times 8. So once we've got these two on the bottom the same, we can see that the children have got 30 out of 80, and the adults have got 32. The adults have got 30 out of 80, and the children have got 32. So the greater proportion is child water drinkers. Okay, so let's move on then to actually drawing a pie chart or going through how that would work. So how many degrees are there in a full turn or around a point? Okay, so if you don't know, the answer is 360 degrees. So sometimes in your exams you might get asked questions like this. What fraction of the circle is shaded? Well, altogether it's telling you that it's 40 degrees is shaded. So we just need to show the number of shaded degrees over the total number of degrees, which is 40 out of 360. Now that is a fraction, but we can cancel this down. We can cancel this down by taking off the zeros, giving us 4 over 36, and then we can divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 36 divided by 4 is 9. So our fraction in its simplest form is 1/9. Let's have a go at another one of those. Before that, let's just answer this question. If 72 people in total were asked, how many people are represented here? Well, we know that it's a ninth. So all we need to do is find a ninth of 72. So again, 72 times 1/9, or to make it easier for you, 1 divided by 9, press equals, and then times by 72. And it gives us 8. So 8 people are represented here. If 12 people are represented, how many people were asked in total? So all that's saying now then is it's kind of changing it up and saying that 40 degrees represents 12 people. So all you need to do is work out what it is for 1 degree. So you just divide by 40. So 1 degree, if I do 40 divided by 40 to give me 1 and 12 divided by 40 to give me 0.3. I know you can't have 0.3 people, but once you actually get to your answer, you will have a proper answer. It's just the quickest way to get it down to 1 degree, etc. So 40 degrees is 12 people, divide by 40, 1 degree means 0.3 people, so then we just times that by 360, and so 1 degree goes to 360, and 0.3 times 360 is 108 people, okay? So you just divide by 40 and times by 360. Okay, let's have another go at one of those. What fraction of the circle is shaded? Okay, so same as before, we have 100 degrees shaded, okay, out of a total of 360. We can cancel that down by taking off the zeros, giving us 10 over 36, and then we can divide by 2, giving us 5 over 18. So our simplified fraction is 5 over 18. If 72 people in total were asked, how many people are represented? Okay, so if 72 people were asked, we just need to find 5/18 of 72. So in order to do that easily, you can do 5 divided by 18 times 72, because you're just finding how many people this represents, and we want that fraction of the entire total, okay? 5 divided by 18, press equals, times by 72 equals 8. So 8 people were asked. So now it's changing it up again. If 15 people are represented here, how many people were asked in total? So what it's telling you now is that 100 degrees is 15. So if 100 degrees is 15 people, we can divide by 100 to tell us what 1 degree would be. So 1 degree would be 0.15, and then we just times that by 360 to give us 54 people. So 54 people were asked in total if 100 degrees represents 15 people. Okay, so one more then. What fraction of the circle is shaded? Again, 60 degrees out of 360. We can simplify by taking off the zeros, giving us 6 over 36. And we can divide by 6, giving us 1 over 6. So, if 90 people in total were asked, how many people are represented here? So we need to find 1/6 of 90. So we can do, again to make it easier, 1 divided by 6, and then equals, and then press times 90, giving you 15, okay? If you do have a scientific calculator, like I said before, you can do 90 times and then press the fraction button and put your numbers in the fraction, and when you press equals it will give you 15. Okay, and finally, if 30 people are represented, how many people were asked in total? So that is telling you that 60 degrees represents 30 people. If I divide by 60, it will tell me what 1 degree is, so 1 degree equals 0.5. And if I times by 360, it will tell me that in total there were 180 people asked. Okay, so again, just a quick reminder, there are 360 degrees around a full turn, a circle, or around a point, okay? So, that if that is true, If 2 people want to share a pie chart, how many degrees would they each get? Well, 360 divided by 2 is 180. If 3 people wanted to share the pie chart, how many degrees would they get? So all you're going to do is divide it by the amount of people that there are. So again, if 3 people, that'll be 120 degrees each. 4 people, we divide by 4, 90 degrees each. Okay, and so on. So 5 people, divide by 5. 360 divided by 6, divided by 8, divided by 10. So it matters how many people are being asked. If you want to draw a pie chart and you need to split that pie chart, that 360 degrees, you need to divide it by the amount of people that there are. So the formula to work out the number, or any number, is the degrees per person equals 360 divided by the total number of people. And that will tell us how many degrees we need to measure for each section. So let's have a look at drawing this pie chart then. Drawing a pie chart, you've got favourite crisps, the frequency, which is how many people chose, and how many degrees it will be. So 34 people chose salted, 16 people chose roast chicken, 21 people chose salt and vinegar, and 18 people chose cheese and onion. And 31 people chose barbecue. So we need to work out the degrees per person. In order to do this, we're going to do 360 divided by the total number of people. So we need to add up that total. So that total is 120. So 360 divided by 120 gives us 3 degrees. So that's 3 degrees per person. That's not 3 degrees, to measure one time or whatever. Don't get confused. This is per person. That's not the whole amount of degrees for salted crisps, for example. If it's degrees per person, we then need to look at how many people chose salted. It was 34. So we need to do 3 times 34, which gives us 102. We then do 3 times 16, 3 times 21, 3 times 18, and 3 times 31. That will now give you your degrees. You will now be able to use the protractor to measure those degrees out. So our first one is 102. We're going to take our protractor and we are going to place the 0 on the line here, on the first line that you draw, or if there is one already drawn for you, which the most likely will be, you place the 0 on that section. People get very confused with how to use a protractor. We're then going to measure 102 degrees. So we're going to go from 0 to 102. So there's 100, 102, about there. Okay? Brilliant. Done. You've now measured 102 degrees. We then turn the protractor so that the 0 is now on our new line. And we are going to measure 48 degrees. Remember, some people are going from this side, but you can't be going from that side. We're going to go in a clockwise direction, and you need to be going from 0. Okay, some people are looking here at 180 and getting confused. You can measure from 0 this side, but sometimes you may only need to do that if this first angle is really, really big, because you can't measure it all the way around. So I would suggest just trying to do the smallest measurements first, and then the final big one can be put last. Okay, it doesn't matter which way round you put it inside the pie chart. I could have drawn this angle first if I wanted to. It's up to you. So here, you've placed it now on 0. We're going to measure 48 degrees, which is about there. Okay, lovely. We're then going to measure 63 degrees. We're going to turn our protractor. I've not done the entire thing. I figured you'd get it from there. So again, we would turn our protractor onto this line and measure, and then from this line and measure, and I think that's it, yeah. So you can see here that we've got it right, because this does kind of look like a 90-degree angle, but just a little bit higher. 90 degrees, remember, is like a quarter of the circle. So now we can label our pie chart. We have salted, roast chicken, salt and vinegar, cheese and onion, and barbecue. Okay. Alright, so hopefully you now know what to include in a pie chart. The only thing that I didn't actually put in my answer just then was a title. You could say a pie chart to show people's favourite crisps, which is absolutely fine. You have answered GCSE exam questions based on pie charts. You also know how to work out the angle of a pie chart and what fraction that is and how many people that represents, which is fantastic. And I also hope that you know now how to draw a pie chart. Okay, so thank you so much. Well done, and thank you for using Keep It Education. I will see you next time.